Yo, what is cracking, gang? This video covers day 22 through 29, wrapping up the 10k a month lawn care challenge, which really is 7 days of grinding excluding one Sunday. And yes, you guys will see that I officially passed the 10k challenge and then some. But stick around because I will be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how you guys can do the same. This video will show you guys every single job for the week, along with the lead sources, a few crazy moments like my mower getting stuck, etc. So these 7 days, I pulled in $4,410 in revenue, and it was all documented. My next video upload, I will show you guys all the expenses of the full 10k a month challenge to see how much I really made with all the expenses taken off. I'm talking about all the workers, the fuel, the taxes for that month, so stay tuned for that. Like always, every single tool I used in this video, from the camera holder down to the trailer model, etc., is either shown in the end of the video or linked in the description down below. Let's get started. If you guys want to hit 10k a month, the number one thing you guys should be studying, like if it was an SAT test from high school, is marketing. That is the fuel to any business, and you guys gotta pay to play for some of these tactics I'm about to mention. As you guys will see on the lead sources, I gathered my client list from different types of tactics, but you guys will also realize that my biggest lead source of all time is Facebook ads. And when I saw how many clients I got through Facebook ads, I ran with it, spending $200 to $500 a month just for Facebook leads. I got a YouTube video showing you guys how I run my Facebook ads if you guys want to check that out. But the real key here is you need to try multiple tactics, then run with the one that gets you the most clients. For example, I got clients from flyers that I passed out 2 years ago. Also, you guys can try yard signs. Another tactic is website inquiries. I created my website like my first year in business, and I'm not even putting any more SEO to it, and I'm still getting inquiries, so that's a good one. Another one is your truck and trailer branding. You could put magnets on your truck, decals on your truck, and you can get like a banner for your trailer. That way you're just a billboard. That's another great tactic right there. Also, the uniform that you wear with your logo and your phone number, and it looks clean when you have a whole uniform. Also, another tactic I used in my first 2 years were referral programs. If one of my clients referred me to somebody, I would take $10 off their next cut. You guys can also try Google ads, Nextdoor ads. I don't have that much experience with Google ads, but you know, it's still out there. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. Once you get a lot of good reviews, and when people search up lawn care, you're like in the top 10. So I know Google ads are pretty good. So you guys have to try multiple tactics and run with the one that works for you. For me, you know, it was Facebook ads. It might not be good for you, but yard signs might be good for you. And once you find that golden tactic, you got to double down on it. Pass out more yard signs if that's your golden tactic, and go with it. I'll be coming out with an ebook soon on my personal marketing strategy that keeps me busy all year around. Not just in the spring or summer, I stay busy all year around, because when the seasons start to change, you got to start marketing for other services at that perfect time. And I'll show you guys what services to offer, what tactics I use, and how to psychologically close a lot of clients, how to persuade them to accept your services. So stay tuned for that. But the two most important things I learned from this challenge was the marketing and the tools, which is why I make sure to show you guys all my tools and equipment at the end of the video to help you guys out. So in this video, this week wasn't all that smooth. On minute 518, my worker was leaving these grass marks on the sidewalk, so I had to direct her into staying on the lawn. Also, I show you guys how to clean it up with the weed whacker, but let me know in the comments if you guys have like a different method to clean this type of stuff up. I know the rain always washes it off. You know, the stain isn't permanent, but it just looks bad at the moment. I just use a weed whacker to get all that wet grass off the sidewalk, but it still leaves like a stain. But let me know in the comment section if you guys have like a method to clean that up. Then my stand-on mower started like sliding down this soggy hill, but I was able to get it out on minute 13:12, and it shows how it was like headed for this street, so I had to move it a certain way to get it out. But then on minute 1849, the same thing kind of happened. It got stuck in a similar way, but I show you guys how to pull it out. I just put the switches on reverse to help me push it back while I lift the front to get it unstuck. I noticed that the stand-ons, like, they're a lot easier to get unstuck than the zero turns. Like the zero turns, like, they're just like heavier on the back side where the wheels are, but the stand-ons, like, you can push those, like you can turn the wheel, all the wheels to the right and then pull it out. Like, it's not as bad as the sit-down mowers. Then on minute 15 and 14 seconds, I'm curious about your guys' opinion on this. Like I personally get nervous when I'm mowing next to the street. Like, I try to face forward mowing against the cars just in case, you know, one goes off the road. I'll have some time to react. But let me know if you guys, like, if you guys just don't mind it or what. Like, literally 2 days ago, I was edging this commercial property where a lot of traffic passes and some cars go fast, and I'm just like, damn, if I were to like trip forward or something, like, these cars will just take you. But yeah, let me know what you guys do in these situations. I try to be cautious, you know. I'll look at the cars to see if they're going fast or not. If a bunch of cars are going fast, like, sometimes I'll just wait till the cars get done passing, and then I'll like edge it up quickly. I'll like run to edge it just to get it over with quickly. But yeah, let me know if you guys have dealt with something like that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's jam-packed with commercial mowing, junk removal, mulch installs, flower bed cleanups, gutter clean, like a little bit of everything. So if you guys want like ideas on how to do certain jobs, it's right there. I also got 2 free ebooks dropping soon, how to get your first 10 clients if you're starting out, or if you want an extra 10 clients. The second ebook is going to be on my top 3 lawn and junk removal tactics, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. As always, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Remember, there is no nobility in poverty. Let's get this bread, gang. Stay grinding and stay winning. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Allá. Pretty big. Okay, last one.
Now I got the first property. Just gotta clean out this little flower bed. And some extra ones back there. Let's get it. This right here. Over there. Got done. Right there. Drop this in. Huh? No. I got this commercial property right here. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. done right quick.
Last one right here, last one.
How to edge up the neighbors. I've been undercharging lately. You know, cap. But I mean, the thing is, like, I'm building contacts, so it ain't that bad. Especially around April, I'm not really tripping because if I can get this customer on a weekly, bi-weekly, the first time cut is like, if you mess up on the first time cut price, don't really trip about it. There's a company out here that charges $1 for your first cut. They do that so they can keep you on the weekly and bi-weekly, but I ain't gonna do that. $1 for the first cut? Forget that. Some of these lawns are overgrown. So that company, you know, that's their little tactic, but $1? Above that, I'm pretty sure they're attracting all the wrong clients. Like, you're attracting all the cheap clients, you know, if you're doing $1 and somebody accepts that. I know some higher end neighborhoods, I'm pretty sure they won't take that because they'll just think it's lower quality. You know, if you're doing it for $1, like, the quality of the cut might not be that good. So if you're charging like $20 to $1 for a first time cut, you know, most clients are gonna know that it's bad quality, or you're just gonna attract all the cheap customers that won't even pay. So I wouldn't even sweat that competition, to be honest with y'all. Plenty for everybody. So charge accordingly. Don't charge, like, the least I would charge for a lawn cut is probably like, for like the front and the back is probably 40. But it would have to be like, I would have to get them quick, or else I wouldn't even think about that. weeks that I haven't gone to the gym, so shit, I gotta do it. I got to. I'll do half. She gets me wired. Gotta throw down some mulch.